Bordering on the vast Sahara Desert, the Sahel stretches across the African continent. Eking out any kind of living here is tough, but a group of women in northwestern Burkina Faso are turning their corner of this harsh, arid region into a lush and productive garden. VOA's Paul Diho has that story.
Imagine a country where 80% of the population relies on agriculture, but only a tiny fraction has access to modern farming equipment. Now, imagine that same country suddenly receiving a $50 billion injection, not into banks or oil fields, but into tractors. Yes, tractors. We take you to Burkina Faso in 2025, where Captain Ibrahim Traoré isn't just leading a nation, he's fueling a full-blown agricultural revolution. This isn't charity, it's strategy. Tractors are no longer rusty relics stuck in the past. They're tools of power, progress, and national pride. From the dusty Sahel to the fertile river valleys, thousands of machines are transforming the way Burkina farmers work, eat, and export. Food security boosted, youth unemployment slashed, and the message to the West? Crystal clear: Africa doesn't need pity, it needs horsepower. In this video, we break down how Captain Traoré's bold $50 billion tractor move is shaking up the continent and planting the seeds of a self-sufficient future. Let's get into it. The bold $50 billion bet. When most world leaders mention agriculture, it's just buzzwords and photo ops. But not Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The bold young leader of Burkina Faso is rewriting history with a jaw-dropping $50 billion agricultural overhaul centered on one powerful tool: the tractor. We're not talking about a symbolic rollout. This is a full-on transformation. Over 50,000 tractors are set to flood Burkina Faso's fields, shifting the country from manual labor to machine-driven farming at breakneck speed. This isn't just a push for productivity, it's a revolution in food security, rural employment, and national pride. Traoré isn't making promises. He's delivering steel, wheels, and real change. Africa's agricultural future may just start right here. Traoré didn't dream this up in a boardroom. He's walked these farms. He knows the sweat, the back-breaking reality. His plan? Replace that suffering with horsepower. These aren't old Soviet-era machines either. We're talking brand new GPS-guided tractors, manufactured in partnership with both regional producers and select partners from the global south. It's a direct attack on food insecurity and a declaration of independence from Western seed and aid monopolies. What's more, Traoré isn't leasing these tractors from foreign corporations. He's buying them outright, owning them, controlling them. That's the game changer. For once, an African country is calling the shots. Each tractor is part of a larger homegrown ecosystem, complete with state-run repair centers, subsidized fuel access, and farmer training programs. It's all under national control. No middlemen, no foreign strings, just pure sovereign development. In Traoré's Burkina Faso, farmers aren't scraping by anymore. They're building futures. This isn't just mechanization, it's liberation. A mechanized awakening where the tools of progress are finally in African hands, and they're being used to till more than soil, hope. From hoe to horsepower, a farmer's leap. Just a few years ago, the average Burkina farmer had little more than a rusty hoe, a tired donkey, and blistered hands to show for a day's work. Yields were low, the land was harsh, and hunger was never far off. But now, thanks to Traoré's tractor revolution, fields that once produced enough for one family are now yielding enough to feed entire communities and even export. The numbers speak louder than any headline. Grain output in early pilot regions has nearly doubled. Fields that once took days to plow by hand are now turned in hours. Even irrigation, long thought unfeasible in remote zones, is being revolutionized by tractor-based sensors connected to digital mapping systems. Entire villages have gone from scraping by on subsistence farming to building thriving cooperative agribusinesses seemingly overnight. But what really sets this initiative apart is its boots-on-the-ground execution. Captain Traoré didn't outsource the rollout, he built it from within. His administration created the Ministry of Rural Mechanization, staffed not with bureaucrats, but with engineers, military veterans, and agricultural experts. The mission? Total transformation. Today, training centers stretch across the countryside, offering free certification in tractor operation, maintenance, and modern crop rotation. Powered by AI models tailored to local soil and climate conditions. It's not just tech, it's tech with purpose, rooted in national pride. This isn't a top-down revolution, it's bottom-up. Farmers are now shareholders in regional co-ops that manage these machines. They're not just passive recipients, they're active participants. That pride is turning into productivity. It's no wonder people are calling this the African agricultural miracle. And at the center of it all, a young boots-on-the-ground leader who believed that the land of upright men deserved more than scraps. With every till and turn of the soil, the old colonial patterns of dependency are being buried for good. Rural youth are coming back and staying. For decades, rural youth across Africa fled their villages in search of opportunity. Cities swelled with job seekers, and the countryside grew older, poorer, and emptier. But in Traoré's Burkina Faso, the reverse migration is real, and it's picking up speed. The reason? Opportunity is no longer in the capital, it's on the land. With the $50 billion tractor initiative, Traoré has done something rare, made farming cool again. These aren't the dusty, dying fields of the past. These are high-tech, high-yielding, GPS-optimized farms where 20-year-olds run agrotech apps, drones, and fuel-efficient machines. Young people now proudly introduce themselves as agricultural entrepreneurs. TikToks of smart farms and green harvests are flooding Burkina-based social media. This is the new image of success. And it's not just about ego. The money's real. Government-backed microloans, fast-tracked permits, and exclusive youth-only land grants have created a new class of young landowners. In partnership with Traoré's national banks, young farmers can now earn a living wage within their first year, unheard of a decade ago. The brain drain is being reversed. Agronomists, software engineers, and soil scientists are coming home. Universities are adding agri-mechanics to their curriculum, and demand is off the charts. In Traoré's vision, the future of Burkina Faso doesn't live in the slums of foreign cities. It lives in the greenbelt of the Sahel, fed by solar pumps and guided by tractors that whisper across the plains. Africa's youth are no longer waiting for jobs, they're driving them, literally.
Jusqu'à 2022, on a une démocratie, clopin, qui n'arrive pas encore à satisfaire. Et puis la situation sécuritaire n'est pas, ça s'aggrave davantage.
C'est de l'escroquerie politique, ils ont dupé le peuple. Il faut que cela cesse.
Donc les mêmes jeunes qui ont contribué à faire le coup d'État refait notre coup d'État intérieur. Voilà une instabilité permanente dans laquelle le Burkina se retrouve. Mais toujours avec une constance. Que veut le peuple? Le peuple veut vivre dignement, librement, et avec les moyens modestes qu'il.
Food sovereignty, not just security. While Western media obsesses over aid and donations, Traoré's Burkina Faso is asking tougher questions. Why depend on charity when you can grow your own? The tractor revolution isn't just feeding the people, it's freeing them. For the first time in modern history, Burkina Faso is positioning itself as a net food exporter in key grain sectors. That's not luck, that's leadership. This revolution isn't just about plowing fields, it's about complete food sovereignty. Captain Traoré's vision dives deep, building an independent agricultural ecosystem from the roots up. Local seed banks are being developed in native languages, preserving genetic heritage and ensuring cultural continuity. Grain silos now use blockchain tracking to secure transparency and accountability. The result? A full vertical supply chain, from soil to shelf, owned and operated by Burkinabe hands. No foreign patents, no middlemen, no external dependencies, just pure national ownership. And the results are already visible. The government's Grow Local, Eat Local program has slashed food imports by 35%. School lunch programs now source produce from within 50 kilometers of each district, supporting local farmers and cutting logistics costs. Emergency grain reserves are full, safeguarding against drought or crisis. Most impressively, food prices have stabilized. Inflation in the agricultural sector has dropped significantly, easing the burden on families across Burkina Faso, from Ouagadougou to the remotest rural village. Critics said it was impossible. They said Africa would always need aid. Traoré said, "Watch us." And now the region is watching. Mali, Niger, Chad, they're all sending envoys to study the model. Africa has had enough of band-aids. It's hungry for blueprints. Traoré's tractor revolution isn't just feeding people, it's feeding the dream of real independence, creating a Pan-African agricultural model. What started as a national initiative is rapidly becoming a continental movement. Traoré's tractor revolution isn't staying within Burkina Faso's borders. It's inspiring a pan-African renaissance in agriculture. Countries across West Africa are taking notes and making calls. Already, joint procurement deals are being negotiated with Mali and Togo. There's talk of a Sahel agricultural alliance, and it's all being spearheaded not by consultants, but by farmers and engineers themselves. Traoré is hosting monthly strategy forums with neighboring nations, offering open access to Burkina Faso's agricultural software, logistics models, and even tractor designs. He's not gatekeeping success, he's scaling it. That kind of generosity is rare in politics, rarer in geopolitics. But Traoré isn't playing old games. He's rewriting the rules. This is the kind of diplomacy African countries have been waiting for: practical, non-extractive, and driven by shared progress. The tractor has become more than a machine. It's a symbol of solidarity. When Burkina Faso exports tractors to Guinea, it doesn't send a price tag, it sends a partnership. And the private sector is responding. African manufacturers are ramping up. Local fabrication plants are getting orders. Regional development banks are competing to finance the expansion. What began in Burkina Faso is now catching fire across the continent. And not as a handout, but as a handshake. In a world that often talks down to Africa, Traoré's tractor revolution is Africa talking to itself with confidence, competence, and conviction, beating climate change with steel and soil. The Sahel is one of the most climate-vulnerable regions on Earth. Desertification, droughts, and degraded soil have made farming here a gamble, but Traoré is flipping the harvests. His $50 billion tractor revolution isn't just about mechanization, it's about resilience. These machines are doing more than tilling, they're regenerating. Every tractor deployed under Traoré's agricultural overhaul is more than a machine. It's an eco-engineered powerhouse. Programmed with Burkina Faso's diverse microclimates in mind, these tractors use climate-smart sensors that adjust tilling depth and rotation in real time, based on local soil composition. The impact is transformative: less erosion, higher yields, and healthier land over the long haul. And forget fossil fuels. These machines run on biofuels made from local jatropha plants, creating a self-sustaining green energy loop that empowers local producers and slashes carbon emissions.
The nutritional situation of children before the setting up of the project was severe. The children were falling sick regularly. But since we started to work here and the garden started producing vegetables, the children have been less sick.
I volunteer because I am a mother and I need to make sure that my family is fed properly.
But the environmental vision doesn't stop there. These tractors are also planting trees, literally. Through the bold Green Iron Initiative, every mechanized farm is required to establish windbreaks and cover crops. The mission: reforest and regenerate, and it's working. Satellite data already shows increased soil moisture and fewer dust storms across key agricultural provinces. This isn't just sustainable farming, it's ecological resurrection, driven by machines built for the land they serve. Traoré's approach isn't about fighting nature, it's about working with it. He's blending indigenous knowledge with high-tech tools, showing the world that climate solutions don't have to come from Paris or Davos. They can come from Ouagadougou. The world said the Sahel would dry up and die. Traoré said, "We'll water it with our own hands." And now the desert is receding, one tractor track at a time, women behind the wheel. In traditional agricultural systems, women do most of the work and get the least reward. But not anymore. In Traoré's Burkina Faso, women are not just behind the scenes, they're behind the wheel. As part of the tractor revolution, 30% of all machines are earmarked for female-run cooperatives. And it's changing everything. Women who once spent 10 hours a day harvesting by hand now operate 200 horsepower machines with touchscreen dashboards. They're growing more, earning more, and leading more. Female-led farms are outperforming expectations, with cooperative profits up 70% in some regions. And these women aren't just workers, they're managers, trainers, and innovators. Traoré's government offers dedicated scholarships for women in agritech. There's even a fast-track program for single mothers to receive both land titles and mechanization licenses. In villages where patriarchy once ruled the soil, women now run the harvest festivals and the books. This is economic feminism, African style. It's not about slogans. It's about steel, sweat, and sovereignty. And the impact is visible. School attendance among girls has jumped thanks to improved household income. Health clinics are better funded. Domestic violence rates have fallen in pilot zones, showing what happens when women hold real power, not just symbolic titles. And guess what? Traore isn't doing this for applause. He's doing it because it works. Women make better use of communal resources, reinvest in families, and build stronger supply chains. In this new Burkina Faso, equality isn't just a goal, it's a gear in the machine. The West watches, but Africa rises. Let's be clear. This tractor revolution has made some people very uncomfortable. In the marble halls of Paris, Brussels, and Washington, questions are being asked. How did Burkina Faso, a country they once called poor and unstable, pull off a $50 billion transformation? The answer? They stopped asking permission. Under Traore, Burkina Faso isn't playing by the old playbook. They're not begging for IMF loans or attending G7 lectures. They're investing in their people, their land, and their future. And guess what? It's working better than most aid packages ever did. Western analysts are scrambling to explain it. Some call it nationalism, others call it populism. But on the ground, farmers call it freedom. For the first time, they have machines that answer to them, not foreign shareholders. And for once, the narrative isn't about saving Africa. It's about Africa saving itself. Sure, the West can watch, but the real audience is Africa. Traore isn't just building tractors, he's building belief. Belief that a small country with a bold vision and a fearless leader can rewrite its destiny. Burkina Faso is no longer a footnote in geopolitical strategy reports. It's a headline, it's a case study, it's a warning to the old world and a beacon for the new one. So, when you see that tractor roll across a golden Sahel sunset, remember, it's not just metal, it's momentum, and it's not stopping anytime soon. So, what does $50 billion worth of tractors really buy you? For Captain Traore, it's more than steel and wheels. It's sovereignty. It's a loud declaration that Burkina Faso is done playing small. With every field plowed, every seed sown by machine, the country is rewriting its destiny, one harvest at a time. Gone are the days when Burkina Faso depended on international donors for grain and guidance. Now, thanks to this mechanized revolution, it's exporting strength, feeding its own people, and teaching the world a lesson in bold leadership. It's not just about farming, it's about owning your future. Captain Traore didn't wait for permission. He turned tractors into tools of transformation. And if this is what $50 billion can do in one of the world's poorest nations, imagine what's next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you believe in Africa rising on its own terms. Because this is just the beginning of the Burkina Faso blueprint.